everybody, welcome to the Wednesday Curbside Pickup Craft. And today's kit that you've got all of your supplies for includes just a few things. So you'll have a plastic bag, and inside your plastic bag you'll have a bunch of markers. Yours are more Crayola-like, so you'll have at least 4 markers. And then you will also, in your plastic bag, have a nice little spray bottle. Yours are a little bigger, and so it's empty. And this you want to make sure you fill with just tap water. Make sure they're brand new, so they should be clean, but you just want plain water inside of your spray bottle. You'll have cards and envelopes also in your kit. So you should have about 8 cards and matching envelopes. So the cards are not folded yet, but you can go ahead and fold them very easily. They have a nice crease here. Just go ahead and follow that down and you'll have a nice crease for a really easy to put together card. So I creased them first, the first thing you want to do. So your card is ready to go. You can decide then which is the back or the front. If you want it to open like this, or if you want them to open like this. So, you know, figure out what orientation you would like it. And then, you're probably wondering, was this just a bag to hold my supplies? No. So if you follow along with your directions, the first thing you're going to do is, again, crease your card. And you're going to put your card underneath your bag, just underneath of it, so you can see it, see where it's located. And you're going to take your marker and you're going to draw on top of the bag. Card is underneath, you put the bag on top of the card, and you color just where your card is underneath the bag. Your bags are a little smaller, so it should be should fit nicer. I have a little bit bigger bag, but so you'll just see where your card is under the bag, and you just take the marker. You just go ahead, and I like to use the fattest side so you get more color, and you just stroke it on in random patterns onto this plastic bag. It's very simple. Just get a lot of color onto that plastic bag, and so you can use several colors. So this first one I'll use probably 3 or 4, and you want to make sure that you're getting it all the way to the edges with your colors that you're using. And I've got some little markers, so again, make sure you're using the biggest fattest side of the marker to get the biggest, broadest strokes. And there's no right or wrong here. You just keep going and making color onto the plastic. And then once you've got your design roughly, again, you're going to spray some water on this, and it will make it move around the water, and it will bleed the colors together, and that's kind of the watercolor idea that you're going to get for your cards. So then you go ahead and spray the top. Again, you've got marker on the top here. You're going to use your spray bottle and spray it lightly. Just missed it, so you start seeing it kind of bubble a little bit. Doesn't need to be sopping wet, because the more wet you get a paper card, the more they're going to bend. So then once you've got it with the design, you flip it over quickly, and then you rub your design onto your card. And the more you smear it and rub it, your design will kind of bleed together. And again, you want them really to bleed together. It makes a nicer pattern, because you'll see even on this card, the parts where it bleeds together is so much nicer than this bottom part where I didn't get enough moisture on it and it didn't bleed all the way. So you've got quite a few cards to tinker with and play with. I just wanted to show you the basics of this, and I'll do another one or two. But once you've got your card, again, it's wet, and when it dries, if you just leave it like this out on a table, it will curl up. So to have them dry, you want to put a book, something down on top of it so that it dries nice and flat, something heavy. and that way you'll have a really nice flat card when it's done. And again, we're not getting these really, really wet. And if you have too much water on your design, you have paper towels. I said in part of your list you could have a paper towel to blot the excess water off of the card so it's not running places, and that way it'll pick up and kind of smear the color around too. It makes a nice effect for that. So we'll do a different color combination. That green was pretty bold compared to the other colors, so go ahead and crease the card and put it underneath my plastic bag. And I've got it dry in the spots that I need. And this time I'm going to pick a pink, a blue, and a gray. And we'll see what kind of colors we get from that. And this is not quite, might be orangish, I'm not quite sure. They're my daughters, so maybe this lid doesn't match with this, but it's the color that we got. It's kind of more red than I thought, but that's okay. So it's hard to see. I'm going to pick this up with my card to show you. You can see that design coming across. Again, we're doing this dry, and I'm going to add some other colors into it now. And again, you want to make sure it's going to fill up the whole card. And let's hope this is blue. Looks blue. And just streak them through however swiggly designs you think. And I'm going to show you it dry. So that's what it looks like dry. I'm going to go ahead and spritz it. And then I'm going to put it over onto my card, and I'm going to smear it around and see if I can get the colors to kind of bleed around. And I missed a little on this corner. Let's see if I can get it to pick up. I should have brought a paper towel over here because then I could blot some of it off. But so that's kind of the color combination when it starts to dry. There's one thing you could do. You could spray the card instead of the plastic bag, and so I'll do that next. You still draw the design on the bag, but you spray the card instead, so I'll show you kind of what that looks like. Again, you have nice Crayola markers that I sent along with you, and that's something I would definitely say is needed for this. Some of these other markers from my daughter's collection are a little cheaper and don't look to be spreading as nice, but alright, so we got a card. I'm going to put this down and make sure see if your table is not clean and you've left some of the dye on it, your card's going to pick it up. So make sure you're working on a nice clean surface and that everything is dry, otherwise the colors will bleed. So we'll start that one over. And this one I'm going to spray the card. So this time it'll be a little different of a design. Put my card down, put my paper down, and I'm going to make my design right on here. And then, like I said, spray the card, and then I'll put this down. Let's see how that works on this one. But you've got lots of cards to try on. There's no right or wrong when it comes to this. Just see what designs you get. So I'm going to spray right onto the card this time, just lightly so that it's barely wet. And I'm going to flip my design on it, and then I'm going to rub. probably didn't get enough moisture over here, but still picks it up. And you know, you could always write on these cards with a white crayon before you do it. Like you could write a thank you on here, or hello, thinking of you, any message you would want to put on here in a white crayon, and then you would do the same technique and the words would appear and your design would be behind it. So tinker around with them. You can get all kinds of different designs going depending on what colors you have and what you can use in your house. And that's just as simple as it is. So I hope you enjoyed this craft. Don't forget to sign up for the next one. And that one is the origami book folding, where you'll take a book, and when it opens out, and it'll have a nice design of a word choice. You have 4 different choices. So I'll have an example of those up real soon. Hope you're doing well. See you soon. Bye-bye.